Throughout multiple videos I've made across the channel, a certain one-shot has popped up now and again, which is something I first found interest in after researching for my Gold Future Cup video back in 2023. That one-shot is Koi no Youbi no Sezaki-san, and thanks to Yellowtail translating it, it's now fully readable and up online for everyone to enjoy. It seemed fitting that I cover it now, as it's something I've hyped up and been anticipating for a while. Plus, there's a bunch of other one-shots I want to talk about today too. But why am I so invested in Sezaki-san? What makes it so special? To explain that, I first have to briefly go over what the Gold Future Cup is for those unfamiliar, which will also be relevant to a few other one-shots we cover today, as they were also Gold Future Cup entrants or winners. The Gold Future Cup is usually an annual manga competition held within Weekly Shonen Jump. You might have heard about it from Bakuman, general Shonen Jump circles, or maybe one of my videos. The winner of each year's competition gets a pretty special prize though. They're guaranteed a spot in serializing themselves within Weekly Shonen Jump. Even if you don't win as well, there's a pretty decent chance you'll get in the magazine too, with recent examples like Psyche House and MamaYuyu. Both didn't win their respective GFCs, but impressed Jump enough to get picked up outside of it. But all in all, the GFC is a great initiative to help new authors join the ranks of Weekly Shonen Jump. While usually the series that are published by winners don't go far, hence the Gold Future Cup curse, this opportunity is still really great, and to fans of Jump who love speculating on the future of the magazine, knowing a possible future author or even series is huge and exciting, since usually future series are completely unknown until they're released. Sezaki-san was the winner of its batch in 2022, and we've seen another Gold Future Cup come and go since then, so anticipation has only been building for the author to serialize something. It's not just this aspect though. Sezaki-san's artwork, its bright pink color page featuring the numerous pink-haired schoolgirls framed with shooting stars all around them, just looks engaging to me. And the plot at the time seemed intriguing, a sort of romance manga with a neat little twist. It just is something that appealed to me, visually and on paper, and I'd love if Jump had a manga like this in the magazine to read week by week. And maybe a portion of me is being blindly optimistic by saying that, since I didn't know quite what the one-shot was like, but it awakened a childish whimsy in me that I couldn't help but give into. But now the entire one-shot is translated, so did it live up to my expectations? If you want to read the one-shot first, I'll leave a link in the description. Check it out and come back or not, since for once I'll be giving my full thoughts and a rundown of it here. Usually I'll go into vague detail, since these are only short 40 to 50 pages long stories, and I encourage people to read them all, but I'm far too invested to not cover this one in detail. But without further ado, let's jump straight into Koi no Youbi no Sezaki-san, the one-shot I've been waiting to read for over a year. We begin with Sezaki sitting under a starlit sky where she wishes upon a shooting star for normal love. But then we see that she's actually sitting on a satellite, and it immediately establishes that she's a character who's fun, childish, and literally out of this world. And to contrast with that, our second character, Toru Hoshimaki, couldn't be any more ordinary. He's someone who doesn't stand out, who doesn't excel at anything in particular, and doesn't quite understand love. He is also a pretty guarded person too, not letting anyone in, but that's become difficult as his new seatmate is the titular Sezaki-san. Here we learn of his observation that Sezaki-san changes for each day of the week, and this is such an excellent premise to construct your one-shot around, as you get a few pages devoted to each version of Sezaki-san, explaining their personality types and changes. I knew about this coming in. What I didn't know about was that all of these personality types are also tied to different mythological and legendary creatures. You see, on Monday, Sezaki-san may be hyper-energetic and puppy-like, but she's actually manifesting werewolf traits. But if you're not into werewolves, that's fine, because on Tuesday, she's a vampire. On Wednesday, it's Tanuki Day, and Thursday, it's Alien Time. Friday and Saturday are Devil and Angel days, and all of this is accompanied by the cutest art ever. It's also fitting this manga came out when it did too, because it's when Monster Girl manga started to boom, with stuff like Ruri Dragon in Jump and Ogami Tsumiki in Shonen Sunday. But Sezaki-san said hold my beer and runs the gambit of having a character possessed by I think 6 different monsters, with her becoming a superpowered hero on Sunday, utilizing all her powers to help others, which we see at the beginning with the satellite which she stopped from falling onto Earth and the typhoon later in the one-shot. It integrates these in really well too. They're all fun and serve to make her cute and give the one-shot a cool gimmick, but they're all relevant to her backstory as well, with all 6 creatures being part of the Human Appreciation Club, a gathering of creatures who love human culture and want to protect it. I love this idea because Sezaki-san kind of exhibits the opposite on each day of the week, partaking in being like the individual monsters and exhibiting parts of their culture. And as humans, I think we sometimes do get invested with these creatures a lot. We like to learn about them and their mythos, and personally I love reading up about vampires and aliens, for example. It's a fun and cute spin on the idea, which I think could also branch out into some fun directions if this became a series as well. And let's talk about it becoming a series, as I think it has excellent potential. Every manga one-shot has some, but in particular Sezaki-san could come out at a time where monster girls are big, rom-coms are fairly popular, and with Blue Box possibly entering its later chapters, Jump might want a new one, though it'll have to be up against Hima-Ten now. But as a concept, does it have what it takes to be a long runner? And I think the answer to that question is yes. The romance plotline between Sezaki and Hoshimaki is cute. You could wait a while for their relationship to build, or just see how Hoshimaki reacts to the different versions of Sezaki-san for a long time. Thematically, you could introduce ideas of Sezaki's sense of self. Who is the real Sezaki? What does this mean to her? I think a lot of cool emotional stuff could come from that. You also have a potential action angle from all of these monsters inhabiting her. She could save people from natural disasters or maybe even other monsters. Other individuals could pop up with different inhabiting monsters as well, and maybe they'd fight or be more like reoccurring characters if this wants to keep a more romance slice of life vibe. Overall though, Sezaki-san as a concept is rife to be explored, and you could put her into so many different situations, and depending on the day of the week, things could change dramatically, and I think that's a lot of fun and a sign of a good premise. The artwork is great too, and I think it shows that the author Shirokuma Shirosaki handles drawing cute daily life scenes, sports and action scenes really well. Their paneling flows well, and it's also nice to read. Their compositions of each page and designs are fantastic too. It'd be a real shame if this doesn't become a series, but whatever Shirosaki ends up serializing in Jump, because they will serialize something, I will be there and I will cheer it on. Sezaki-san is such a wonderfully cute, well-paced and unique short story that I've been waiting to read for a while now, and I've sung its praises without even having read it, but even with the wildest expectations, it somehow exceeded them, so if you haven't read it already, go read it. It's thanks to Yellowtail and the folks over at Project Vinland that you can, and again there will be a link in the description. So now on to the rest of the one-shots. Memento In Kowloon is next by Machida Raya. They've done a few one-shots, notably Vroom, which was an entrant in the 2021 Gold Future Cup. This story though follows a Taoist boy named En who finds himself in Kowloon Walled City looking for a Jiangshi, a Chinese mythological vampire or demon equivalent that his master sealed over 40 years ago. This Jiangshi, Ma Fu, is found rather unceremoniously, and this is where the one-shot defies expectations a bit. This isn't about exercising Ma Fu or stopping him for good in the usual shonen battle sense, but for him to attend En's master, Ganon's funeral, the very exorcist who sealed Ma Fu in Kowloon many years ago. While the one-shot does have some admittedly great action later on, it excels at giving its short story and message about change and abandoning prejudices. It does this while also characterizing Ma Fu not as a bloodthirsty monster, but as a quirky individual with his own likes and rhythms of life. It does this so well for the little amount of pages it has, and the art is stunning. I especially like how drugged out Ma Fu gets and the spreads towards the end of the one-shot. I didn't expect to feel so much from this one based on the cover, but it's a really nice, meaningful little short story that uses its setting of Kowloon Walled City to enrich and ground its ideas. This is an excellent one-shot, but I feel there is potential for a good serial here too. Both characters still have much to learn, and it could pivot to become a more globe-trotting or China-trotting adventure following En and Mafu, fighting but also rehabilitating Jiangxi. I'd honestly find that really great, and a good spin on the usual shonen battle formula. Life Flyer from Hell is next, which is another Gold Future Cup one-shot from 2022 by Morihiro Hayashi. This one opens with the death of a princess as her Dark Knight Eugene looks over her. They vow to meet again, and then we're given more context with a page turn. This isn't a fantasy epic, but a story about a bedridden girl being fed lies by a potential suitor named Hisasaki. Sora Tosaka is the bedridden girl and doesn't have much longer left to live. Her father though has arranged meetings with potential suitors in the hope that her having a lover will aid in her recovery process. The one-shot balances scenes of fantastical stories told by Hisasaki, hospital scenes between the two, and some darker scenes involving things going on behind the scenes. While it doesn't have as good art as the rest of the one-shots we're looking at today, I really enjoyed the twists and turns this goes through, even though I've seen some of these ideas tackled before. I also don't think it would make for a good series really, as this is very much a one and done kind of story, but I still think it's worth reading. Canvas Terra is the latest Gold Future Cup winner by Kuji Tabikodo. This is a more classical adventure battle shonen, which I feel has become more rare over time now that exorcism stuff has taken over the popular spot. But Canvas Terra takes a really solid bat at this formula while interweaving its own fresh ideas into it. First off, it's an art-based battle shonen, something I've had ideas of for aeons and I feel I've been a bit outdone. In this world, painters are wielders of magic that utilize powers of observation, understanding and imagination to conjure various things through painting. For instance, our main character can paint a sword which he can wield and use like the real thing, with the main caveat being that these things, if they're objects, disappear when the painter goes to sleep. There is one exception though. A magical artifact called the Eternal Paintbrush can bypass this limit, which is what our protagonists, Kaiga and Thea, are looking for. This is all illustrated with such a clean and simple art style that reminds me of early One Piece, which fits since the main conflict of the one-shot feels like an early chapter of One Piece with a few twists which I won't mention because I think they're genuinely captivating. By far do I think this one-shot above the others is most suited for serialization though. It feels like a chapter 1, introducing its protagonists, its world, its power system and a plot hook to you seamlessly while remaining fun and gripping. There's clearly a lot more to this story and the power system, and a focus on art is a potential gateway to limitless ideas and themes since art is such a rich and personal topic to explore. As such, I really hope we see Kuji Tabikodo with a serialized version of this because to me it feels like a surefire hit. Baike Kitsune no Shushin is the final one-shot we'll be covering today and a newer one from Jump. It's another cute one too by Takumi Sumida. This one follows a kitsune called Yugo Izumo who's quite talented at transforming. Even so, he fails to catch his classmate Akane Kamogawa off guard, who shows little emotion when he pops out of hiding to surprise her. While the cover and beginning may lead you to think it's mostly about the kitsune, this one-shot actually uses the concept and the idea of wearing a mask like a kitsune to do a little character study on Akane, who I'd say is the true protagonist. While usually she walks around with a dopey smile and is happy to help anyone, on the inside she's an exceedingly anxious individual who finds it hard to engage with others and speak her mind. And this is what the story is all about. The art is fantastic, it's cute and bubbly, and I just love how the characters are drawn, especially the faces. It reminds me of Ruri Dragon or Ogami Tsumiki, which I mentioned earlier. The art helps the story remain soft too, so it can engage with a subject matter that's very important for children and also for adults. It's important to acknowledge your real feelings and not hide behind a mask all the time because it will wear away at you inside. While the message delivered here is strong and works great for a one-shot, I think this would need to change if it were to be serialized. But just like Sezaki, it's in its own little subgenre of slice of life with monsters that's fairly popular right now, so I think it could become a cute series about these two characters helping others or causing a little bit of mischief throughout the school. And those were today's 5 one-shots, with a bit of a big focus on Sezaki-san, but please don't let my passion for it take away from the other 4, since I think they're all brilliant. We have some truly amazing authors to look forward to in Jump and outside of it, if this is the quality of today's young mangaka. Links to all 5 will be in the description, and a big thanks to Melons and Yellowtail, who have both done a ton of work in getting these out. Yellowtail was responsible for Memories of Kowloon, Bake Kitsune no Shushin, and Sezaki-san, whilst Melons is brand new to the scanlating side of things and did Liar Life from Hell and Canvas Terra as their first 2 one-shots, so be sure to send them both your thanks and support. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and checking out the channel. I've recently done another video on some other Shonen Jump one-shots which you can check out if you'd like to hear me talk about more one-shots. But if cancelled manga or Jump's history are more your thing, I have a series of videos delving into both of those topics as well. The Axe Files for cancelled manga and the history of Shonen Jump if you want to listen to me delve into Shonen Jump's past year by year. And if you really like what I make, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It helps a ton and you can help influence the direction of the channel a bit. Alongside this, you can listen to the Patreon exclusive Trent Talks podcast at any tier, and you'll be thanked at the end of my videos, with you getting your own little doodle at the $3 tier, like Kinocha, Cody, Kaizoku Gairu, Sora Cool Zero, Holly the Apothecary, Mayu, It's Fako, Yellowtail, and Lay Sloggett. Thank you all for supporting me and what I make. And as always, thank you so much for watching, remember to be kind and take care.